thank everyone for being here today for this announcement that we're going to do an emergency proclamation. And this is surrounding the SNAP benefits and the loss of SNAP benefits in our community. And I don't know if people realize the impact of what SNAP does for community members, for children, for families, for our elderly. We live in such a great community that always steps up and takes care of their own when we have people in need. But this is bigger than just a community just stepping up. It's a loss of people's ability to feed their family. And when they're not able to feed their family, there's a sense of worth that goes along with that as well. So we're in an emergency situation, and that's why we're going to where we're at today. And the food bank's been doing a fantastic job. I know that they are delivering 2 boxes a month to the families that are going up there. But a lot of the people that are on SNAP benefits have never gone to the food bank to use SNAP benefits. They go to the stores and utilize them, and they go grocery shopping. So they're not signed up, they're not ready for that. So the impact that we're going to see in the community of people in need that are going to have some food items brought to them or help through it, we want to work together with everybody in the community, and that's what we're doing here with the local government as well. So, and that's why we're doing this emergency declaration. I want to speak to a couple organizations that are really doing their part. The Town Pump Foundation has done a $40,000 donation to the Butte Food Bank. They've also done a $40,000 donation to the Rescue Mission, from what I understand. And so they're doing their part, and they're doing over $1 million in the state of Montana. So I want to commend the partnership that Town Pump has with helping feed the people in the community. We also have people that are doing food pantries, and we have 2 food pantries in our community that people are filling those with their own food. And so we're working to address some of those needs as we go along here, and I'm going to bring Jim O'Neill up to talk about what we've mobilized here locally and the actions we've taken preliminarily before I decided to do this emergency proclamation. So I'm going to do the emergency proclamation now. I'm going to bring Jim up, and then we'll answer any questions that people may have. So emergency proclamation, loss of SNAP benefits in Butte Silver Bow and the emergency millage. Butte Silver Bow, whereas pursuant to Title 10, Chapter 3, Part 4 of the Montana Code Annotated, 10.3.401 through 10.3.406, the governing body of a political subdivision is authorized to declare the existence of a local emergency and to take certain emergency actions, including levying an emergency millage when an emergency is beyond the financial ability of the political subdivision. Whereas J.P. Gallagher, the Chief Executive of the City of Butte Silver Bow, has determined that there is a local emergency exists as a result of the sudden disruption and loss of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program SNAP benefits affecting residents in Butte Silver Bow. And whereas this loss of SNAP benefits has created immediate peril in the health, safety, and welfare of vulnerable residents, including children, seniors, and low-income households who rely on these benefits for daily nutrition and food security. And whereas the disruption of the benefit has placed an extraordinary strain on local funds, local food banks, senior centers, shelters, and other human service providers within Butte Silver Bow, and existing budget resources are insufficient to meet the increased demand for the emergency food, outreach, and related social services. And whereas Montana Code Annotated 10.3.405 authorizes the governing body of a city, town, or community to estimate expenditures to levy up to 2 mills in a taxable valuation of the jurisdiction to provide funds to meet the emergency expenditures arising from the declared emergency. And Now, therefore, I, J.P. Gallagher, in my capacity as Chief Executive of the City and County of Butte-Silver Bow, do hereby proclaim as follows. The proclamation of an emergency. A local emergency is hereby declared in existence of the City and County of Butte-Silver Bow, Montana, arising from the disruption of loss of SNAP benefits impacting residents of this jurisdiction. The scope and area. The emergency affects all areas within the City and County of Butte-Silver Bow where residents depend on federal nutrition benefits or related food assistance services. Conditions creating the emergency. The conditions constituting this emergency include the abrupt loss of federally administered fixed assistance SNAP benefits, placing thousands of individuals and families at risk of hunger, food insecurity, and associated health and safety impacts. An activation of a local emergency plan. This proclamation activates applicable portions of the City and County Emergency Operations Plan and authorizes coordination with state and federal agencies, local nonprofits, and community partners to provide emergency food assistance, outreach, and logistical support. An emergency millage. The governing body of the City and County of Butte-Silver Bow estimates emergency expenditures in the amount of $183,974 necessary to address the immediate food assistance and relief needs. Pursuant to 10.3.405 Montana Code annotated, the governing body shall levy an emergency millage of 2 mills on the taxable valuation of the City and County for the year of 2025-2026. The proceeds of this levy shall be placed in a separate emergency fund and may be expended only for the purpose of directly related to the emergency, including emergency food distribution, logistical coordination, outreach to the affected residents, and related administrative costs. Public dissemination and filing. This proclamation shall be disseminated promptly to the public via official website, local media, and postings at public buildings, and shall be filed with the Butte-Silver Bow Clerk and Recorder as required of 10.3.404 Montana Code annotated. Termination. This proclamation shall remain in effect until such a time that as the Chief Executive Officer determines that the emergency conditions no longer exist or it is superseded by a disaster declaration pursuant to Montana Code 10.3.403. It is witnessed hereof I have set my hand onto the seal of the City and County of Butte-Silver Bow on this 5th day, November 2025. And so with that, I just wanted people to understand just a little bit of how this will work. We have this money that's going to be set aside to work with our agencies that are working to provide food. This will not be any individual checks or anything that go to people that are missing their SNAP benefits. That's not how this program will work. We'll determine within Butte-Silver Bow and our emergency group collaboration together how we will work with the food bank, with the Butte Rescue Mission, and others in need of that. And so I'm going to invite Jim O'Neill to come up as we've engaged our community action team to mobilize as well. And so I can't thank the school district and all of the local agencies, hospital, Southwest Montana Health Center, all of the community health center and the Civic Center and the people in Butte-Silver Bow for swift action into helping address this. So welcome up Jim O'Neill.
Thanks, Mr. Gallagher. On Monday, I received an email from one of our high school counselors at Butte High School, and she mentioned she had a student in her office that day, a boy, who melted down, was crying because he didn't know where his family's going to get their next meal. I called her today, a few minutes ago, and asked if I could share that story. She said, please do, and please know it's not one individual student in our school. We have a lot of kids hurting. So it's times like this when I'm proud to live in Butte. Butte never says no to people during tough times, and Butte never says no to kids. So Mr. Gallagher got a hold of me the other day and asked if we could mobilize our community action team and have an emergency meeting. I sent out an email Friday. We set up the meeting for 3 o'clock Monday. We had so many people there we didn't have enough chairs. So our objective was to brainstorm what we could do to help the community. So the plan we came up with is to start a community-wide food drive, which will be starting this Friday. We will operate it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4 to 6 o'clock at the Butte Civic Center. This Friday we'll have a drop-off location that is on the north side of the Civic Center. We'll have volunteers coming out to get the food, bring it back into the Civic Center, then the food bank will pick up all the items the next day. So Steph Serini, I think, is here. She's working on a flyer that we're hoping to saturate the community with that flyer so they know about the food drive. We're sending it out through the Shout Point system in the Butte School District, which will reach over 4,000 people. So we're really encouraging anyone who gets that flyer to send it to anyone and everyone so we can help people through this food drive. So that will operate Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 to 6 o'clock at the Civic Center. Starting next week, we'll use the south side of the annex. And Father Beretta is gathering volunteers to help out with the food bank, because our hope is to overwhelm the food bank with food, because they're going to be tapped out in this time. So we also have Karen Malachny and Jamie Vanderlinden are developing some mental health resources to put in the boxes that'll be given out at the food bank, because when you can't provide for your family, you're going to be hurting mentally too. So we want to make sure that people have access to mental health resources to help them as well. I'm sorry, I'm used to talking to 5th and 6th graders. All you adults kind of intimidate me. So, also, another thing that came up, and Steph Serini's working on this, are pets. There are a lot of people that will feed their pets before they feed themselves. So we're, through the community action team, working on trying to get food for pets also. And that might sound silly to some people, but pets are family, and you try to take care of everyone. So I can't thank the community action team and Chief Executive Gallagher enough. It was amazing to me how many people showed up at that meeting, and everyone just jumped in, and we had a short time. We didn't want to wait real long to make this happen, because people are hurting right now. So please, when we get that information out, if you can share it with everyone in the community, and we'll be looking for volunteers at the Civic Center also. We need about 6 to 8 people each time we're there. Bill Melvin's been incredible. He's got a big volleyball tournament going on there this weekend, but he said we can still do this. So thank you to everyone, and if you can promote the food drive, we'd sure appreciate it. Thanks, Chief Executive Gallagher.
Thanks, Jim. One of the things that I think that the community is asking about is the Thompson Food Drive does a big food drive as well. This is not in competition or trying to impact them at all. We've been in contact. I know Stephanie Serini has been in contact with the Thompson family about that as well. We encourage people to continue to participate in that as well. That Thompson Food Drive has done amazing work for our community over the years, but this is a time to come to action before that happens. So, all the things that we've done in the past, all the things that people volunteer and give back to the community, we encourage you to keep this. This is not in competition for any of those things. We hope the federal government will come back together and open up the government, but again, those SNAP benefits will lag behind, and so we're going to have people that are going to be in need for a significant amount of time, and we're also concerned about the WIC benefits, women and children benefits that expire at the end of November as well. So this is a community come together. This is what Butte does. This is why we're the can-do city. This is the community coming together reaching out with a hand up, not a handout, to help our community. And so we ask all of you to participate in that, find a way that you can participate, helping our community. We all can do our part, and so that's what we ask you. And so with that, I'll take any questions that the press or anybody may have. Commissioner Shea.
Mr. Chief Executive, what types of barriers, if any, have been anticipated with people accessing the food bank? And if there were any identified, what type of plans are in the works to remove those barriers for people?
Yeah, so there's barriers of, you need to go and fill out generally at the food bank the need that you have and filling out of that paperwork. There's people that are missing paychecks that don't even have SNAP benefits as well, that are missing paychecks that may be coming in there. So that's why we're looking at with this food drive to help in those food pantries as well. If the barrier to going to the food pantry is something that we see as an obstacle, we're going to work with the groups that do that. So we're going to try to, with the food that's coming in, try to work with helping fill those pantries. I know that private individuals have been filling those pantries. It's an amazing program that the community has already stepped up and done. But we encourage people to go to the food bank too and fill out that paperwork to do that. The Butte Rescue Mission has been fantastic in providing meals. The KC also provides meals to the community. There's a lot of things that are already in place, but the resources are going to run dry quickly if we have a community of, like I said, 10% of our community receives SNAP assistance. And so, and a lot of them have never gone out to look for where can I go and pick up a food basket or those. So we encourage people to come to the Civic Center, drop off. We talked about other places that we could have drop-offs. Any place will accept food, but the Civic Center is really highly visible, easy for everybody to locate and get to, and so we wanted to make it as easy as possible, and people won't even have to get out of their cars. There'll be volunteers down there to help unload anything that they have. We hope, as Jim O'Neill said, that we hope that we overwhelm the food bank, but we also want to help the food bank. We want to help separate stuff and bring it to them so that they don't have to rely on all of their resources down there to try to disseminate that as well. I hope that answers your question. Yes?
JP, what initiated the proclamation? Did you guys start brainstorming, or did the food bank call you? Or?
No, it really was the community action team coming together and talking about the challenges that exist with what we're going to see in the community. I don't think everybody even anticipates what that is, and so the emergency proclamation allows us to access funds immediately so that we can be responsive quickly. If the food bank starts running low, we can access funds to try to supplement and help them quickly to do that. We're just starting to see the effects, because as of the 1st of November, people didn't get their SNAP benefits recharged on here. And so it is an emergency, and I call on the state, I call on the federal government to be reactive as well. But, I think it's the responsibility of the government and the people to be responsible to the needs, and our needs are the people that are going to be with food insecurity into our community. And like I said, we talk about the most vulnerable population, kids, elderly, but I really worry about parents that can't provide for their families. And so, I don't know if there's any more significant emergency than not being able to provide for your kids. Yes.
This is off topic, sir, but what is the community action team made up of?
So the community action team has been made up of a number of, agencies throughout Butte Silver Bowl schools. Jim started this when we had a need back in, I believe, 2014, when we saw a spike in youth suicides in the community. And so it called together health providers, mental health providers, school leaders, leaders and community members together to start coming up with a plan to be reactive to the needs of the community. And so that's continued on over a number of years, and then paused during COVID. And it came back together, and this team's been back together since Jim took over as the county superintendent of schools. He re-engaged it back, we talked about it, and so this group has been meeting monthly since Jim took over in January, and so we're already ready to go. And then when we asked for the people to come, even more showed up. And so that's what Butte does. But we're fortunate. This was set up and ready to go. It wasn't having to go through a phone list and try to get people together. It was there. Yes, Lindsay.
People are asking online where they can go to volunteer to help distribute or sort. Is that just going to be at the Civic Center, at the food bank?
Yeah, so I don't know if Mr. O'Neill, I think if he's still there, I think we have opportunities where people can sign up to volunteer, but we're not going to turn away any volunteers. I know that the food bank has a lot of great volunteers and stuff, but I worry about their ability to get, if we have a huge influx, how we're going to do that. So
We're sending a volunteer sign-up sheet out, hopefully today.
So we're going to look to send out a volunteer sign-up sheet to help out, as it was just brought forward to me. Yes.
Curious, and I'm sure it's positive, but when you say drop them off at the Civic Center, but they'll take monetary.
Yeah, so we encourage people. The food bank already has a QR code. We're going to make that available, that they could do that. If they want to give monetary donation, we'd rather them do it online or through the QR code. But we'll still take monetary donations at the site.
So say if I drive up and
say here's $20 or here's a check.
Just write a check.
Yeah.
Here you go.
We'll make sure that it gets there. And it's on the flyer. So the QR code is going to be on the flyer. And we're going to, again, this is a work in progress. We've got so many great leaders, Stephanie at the chamber and everybody that is going through their health department. This is a work in progress. As we get more information, we're going to get it out to the public and make sure that we're reactive to it. Yes, John.
In your proclamation, you talked about something about $180,000 and this mill. Could you elaborate on that again? What is that for?
So Butte Silver Bow is assessed mills, right? And so through an emergency proclamation, we're only allowed to assess 2 mills during the emergency proclamation. Currently, our mill value is about $91,900. So 2 mills is the $183,000, and that's where we came up with that money. So our plan is that as needed, we're going to utilize that money strictly for this emergency to access that money. And so when the food bank or if the rescue mission, as we determine through Butte Silver Bow, our emergency action team, determines, we will disseminate that money and help those agencies out. Yes, Josh.
This is off topic, but what should the public know about the EPA administrator's visit to Butte yesterday?
So we're thankful that the administrator showed up to Butte. It was kind of a last minute that they told us that he was coming. It's been since 2018 since the administrator's been here. He was essentially being briefed by the EPA on-site team here about all the